Hello everybody out there on the internet, I'm Dakia, and it's a one Monday once more, and it's the 30th of April 2018. Finally, this long month of April seems to be over. It stretched on forever. But anyway, I'm bringing you some newly painted miniatures here. This week I finished 11 minis. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Well, it's kind of cheating because it's these 11. It's these little familiars that I started. I think I started them last week or the week before. I don't recall exactly. They sort of jumped ahead in the queue because they're so simple. Because if you look at them, the size of them, they're really tiny. For comparison, if I bring out this barbarian I finished last week, you see how small these guys are? They're on 20 millimeter basis, and like I said, they're billed as familiars, as like wizards' little pets, and they're it's a large variation of what it is. Like this guy is like a little leprechaun. Here we have a tiny female demon, like a mini succubus, maybe. Here's a lizard of some sort with a lot of legs. This eight-legged lizard, that's a basilisk, isn't it? It's a baby basilisk, maybe. Here's like a baby ant, a tree ant, small plant creature. This is a doll, living doll with the button for eyes, corkscrew locks, carrying a big knife, and with a sort of backpack or pouch, also dangling along, and marching forward. This is probably the funniest and cutest of them all this week. Here we have a tiny dragon. Here's another demon. This is more like a traditional imp, you might say. Here's another imp-like figure. This one propping up a big book. Also kind of fun. What's this here? Another imp. That's a tiny little demon. This one with no wings, but just holding his tail. And another kind of demon figure, painted up different colors, spines along his back. And finally, some little fairy, sylph or something, again holding a book. Yeah. So these were really quickie paint jobs, but you know, they came out fun, I think, and yeah, it's better than nothing. But let's look at all the stuff that's on my work table still. So still not as much progress as I would have liked. I mean, I was optimistic for this past week. I thought, you know, I got a lot more free time. I should get more painting in, but you know, I'm not just a painter. I'm also a lot of other things, and my free time has to be divvied up between my hobbies. But there's been a little bit of work on these, some more metallics on, well, mostly metallics. There's some bronze and golds have been worked in on all of these. But now I need to get into the, I mean, as long as you're working with steel or bronze or wood, you can work on all these miniatures at the same time, or the dirt on the basis, for example. You can batch paint. But now I need to get into the details of the clothing and the gear for each of them and start to differentiate them, and that's going to slow down. But I'm going to try to finish the four in the back here, the ladies. I've been at those the longest. They should really get finished soon, hopefully. Oh well. You know, what gets done will get done. We just have to see. The Kraken comes ever closer to being released. I consider the base to be just about finished. It's very glossy now. I've gloss coated it to protect it, because at some point I'm going to attach the Kraken to the base for the final bit of painting, and yeah, I'll do the matte varnish after everything is done. Now, what I've done here is I've actually painted this portion. You can see a little bit sticking out, this mast, like the ship. I gloss coated it and masked it off, and then I've done some more airbrushing. I've added some pink and some green and some red, just to lay down, you know, the basics, and leaving, as I've said, the tentacles off for the moment. And I considered whether I should attach this thing before starting the brushwork, but I think actually I can hold it by this, and because I have detached the tentacles, I can sort of rest it while paint is drying on its face like this, and that's not gonna make any paint rub off. So I think I can actually paint the whole body before gluing it onto the base, and then I'll attach and paint the tentacles as the very last thing I do. I think that'll work. Yeah. Okay, so I'm in the midst of prep for these hassle-free minis, and I've run into a few issues. This one's no problem at all. The sword arm is separate. It's kind of an odd pose. She's kind of chopping down with her sword, but the way her arm and elbow are held look awkward, and I'm not sure why the shield is behind her like that, but oh well. A little cool, I suppose. The base I simply made out of Agrellan Earth, which is a technical paint from GW with some crackle medium in it. And I suppose they use it as a finishing product on top of something else, but in this case I've tried to use it. Unfortunately it seems to be flaking off a bit. I hope the primer will seal it down. Maybe I need to put on another layer of the Agrellan Earth as well. Yeah, I'm going to use it as to make a sort of cracked earth look. Anyway, for this guy, I made a base. I stamped a base out of green stuff and pinned him to it. I have not attached the shield. You can see the shield here is actually already primed. I'm going to have to paint that separately, because when the shield goes on, it goes on something like this, and covers up such a huge amount of stuff. On the other hand, yeah, so I'm gonna have to paint all this and then paint the inside of the shield, and then scratch off a little bit of the paint to get a surface that some super glue can adhere to, and I will attach it after painting. Like I said, after painting the guy and the inside of the shield, and then I'll attach it, and then I'll paint the outside of the shield. I got a little carried away with the stamping. I wanted to test out a few of my various patterns of stamps that I have, so I made some new bases. This one is like a carpet with a fringe, and then there's stone floor underneath. This is supposed to be like. This is like a flagstone floor with a Celtic knot design relief, and then some dirt around that. This is supposed to be a chest, which is buried in some dirt on a flagstone floor. Unfortunately, the thing with these really deeply recessed patterns is it's difficult to get the material in there, and if you get it in there, to get it out afterwards. I use a lot of Vaseline, and this chest is not great looking. It looks like it's slumping a little bit. Oh well. This one is supposed to be a big sundial sticking up from the ground, and we'll see if it looks better painted. Finally, we come to this model, which is simply this one with wings. So at first I put it on a 25mm base, but then I realized when I attached the wings, which I did after putting the model on and gluing the model into the base,
it was unbalanced, it was back weighted, it would fall over like this. And so I considered just breaking 25mm base, sawing the model off, and then pinning it to maybe something like this. But I went the lazy route instead. I decided, no, I'll take the small base, I'll glue it onto a bigger base, this is a 40mm, and then build it up with some green stuff, and then I'm going to add some texture to make it look like a small hill, essentially, that she's standing on. And you see here, she's balanced. And if you look, I've tried to place her in sort of in the middle of the total base. The body is not in the mid-centered, but sort of the center of gravity of the model as the whole is further back than her body because of the way the wings spread out behind her. And in this case, I attached the wings before painting, luckily, because they stand up and out so much, they're not going to get in the way. I mean, sure, it's going to be a little hard to get in here, but nobody's going to look there anyway. So that was some progress in prepping.
Now, once more, I don't really need to prep anything more, but I want to show you what's in the pipeline anyway, just because I enjoy prepping new minis almost as much as I like painting them. So I've collected a few, essentially random assortment of Reaper minis. The Dust Scorpions are just little, well, they're giant scorpions, I suppose. I mean, much larger than normal. Not giant as in the same, like man-sized or horse-sized. But they'll be relatively simple to paint. And likewise, this is just some monsters and some zombies. I don't know why I had these. I had a phase a while back of just painting lots and lots of undead. Apparently I missed these. They got left over, but oh well, I'll paint them now. We have Ametrine Earthlight. This is the model that I have like 4 copies of. I've actually given one away as a gift, so now I just have 3. But I'll paint up one of her. We have another sort of really random townsfolk kids. These are like not small children. They're real. It's like they're apprentices, like early teens maybe. Because the wannabe wizard has a staff and then the other one has an axe. But you know, that might be fun. And finally, we have Lucy's Panderwagon. If you've been with me for a long time, you recognize this model. I actually painted this one once before for a project where I was following some DVD instructions for how to paint exactly this wizard figure. And for some reason I got 2 copies of him. I don't know why, but I thought I'd paint him up again now and not do it quite as painstakingly, do it a little bit more in the normal tabletop way I do things now, and see how it turns out. But again, there's still stuff on the painting table, so these will get prepped in case I find time or if I get bored with painting and I just want to do some prep just as a change of pace. That will hopefully, I'll probably need a change of pace. And this week I have a Kickstarter to show you. This is from Midland Miniatures, as you can tell. This is the Kickstarter known as Ghosts of Midland Manor, which are 10, well, ghostly figures mostly. Yeah, ghosts of various kinds, headless ghosts, ghosts with chains and the like. A little card, amusingly. Yeah, just thanks to back in Kickstarter, and here's some ads for their other minis. Oh well. I've come to realize I've backed just about every Kickstarter Midland has produced, except the latest one, which is the Halfling Adventurers one that I've actually resisted, simply because I've said before that I need to stop buying new minis so quickly, and what am I going to use those halflings for? in a game. Yeah, I don't have any immediate or even like within the next year or so use for them. I gotta start curbing these impulses. So yeah. In fact, because I have so many middle miniatures, maybe I should start painting them. Maybe that should be next week's project. I'll have to think about that to get, maybe not these, but one of the Kickstarters I've gotten from them previously. We'll see. Anyway, long video this week. Hope it was enjoyable for you. Click like, subscribe, share the video, comment, and I will see you again next Monday. Until then, I am Dakian, signing off for now.